day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Join LES at 6 p.m. Thursday, October 9th at the LES Operations Center to learn about the utilities' proposed 2026 budget and electric rates and share your input at the annual public meeting. Learn more at les.com.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Get geared up for savings like you've never seen before during Elway Days. Their biggest sale of the year runs October 14th through the 18th when every red tag machine is priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Don't miss out on these epic savings. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through October 12th, enjoy 6-ounce USDA Choice Bacon Wrap Filet Mignon for $9.99 each. 10-pound tubes of 85% lean ground beef, $4.99 per pound. All-natural, thick-cut, bone-in pork chops, $1.99 per pound. And Miller Lite or Coors Light, 24 packs, $17.99 each when you buy 2. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Copple Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Copple is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers that have helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Copple Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at copplecars.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Hey guys, it's Nick. Join me and Jay Foreman this Friday night as we bring you Bellevue West versus Lincoln Southwest, live from Seacrest Field, with kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. Lincoln Southwest has won 2 games in a row thanks to a convincing 35-13 win versus Lincoln Northeast last week, and they now get ready to face off against the Thunderbirds. Pre-game is slated for 6:45 p.m. with kickoff expected at 7 p.m., and you can hear all the action between Bellevue West and Lincoln Southwest unfold right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of BJ Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
Sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. It is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Austin Norman coming at you live from Chicago. Hopefully, you'll have to let us know on the text line, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line, just how well you can hear us. We are relying and hoping and praying that the hotel Wi-Fi is stable enough here today. We have so much to get to, whether it's the Cubs game that we enjoyed last night, the Husker women's basketball Big Ten Media Day action that we experienced yesterday, or the preparation for today and the men's side of things. But with that, first, we say good morning to my co-host today, Austin Norman, who joins me from his hotel room 7 stories above from where I am. Hello, Austin. Okay, I don't think we have Austin. So with that being said, we will go ahead and dive in here as we have so much to get into. I'll say this first. Regarding the Cubs game yesterday, when we kind of just bringing this back to full circle. Let's see. Do we have Austin now? Austin, are you here?
I am here. Hey! I made it. We're here. We're good.
Austin, good morning, my friend.
Good morning. What a day yesterday. What a night last night. And here we are bright and early. Okay, not bright and early. It's 9 o'clock, right? Yeah. We've been up for a while. We've been show prepping. We've been Big Ten Media Days prepping. But holy cow, we're here. We made it. I had to make the last second decision to go to hotspot. So I'm off Wi-Fi. I should be good for the remainder of the show.
Well, I'll be okay. So full transparency here. Austin and I are just like a couple of doors down from each other up on the 7th floor of our hotel room, or our hotel that we're staying at in Rosemont, Illinois. It's funny because I logged in this morning about 8 o'clock just to make sure microphone worked and everything there. And while my computer sounds like it's going to blow up right now, it was funny because I logged in and I go, man, this is really laggy. Like there's a very, very good chance that this does not work. So I go down to the front desk and I'm like, hey, do you guys have a ballroom, a conference room somewhere that you can set up in, or Austin and I can do the show together from? And they were like, well, we have the business office that it has its own Wi-Fi. And so I thought, okay, I'll try it out. It's a little glitchy on the visual component, but the audio has been great. And so maybe my words don't match my mouth on the stream, but we're at least here and I can hear you clearly, my friend.
Here's the thing. The audio is fine now. I think the video is even holding up pretty well. I did not have any issues. I was on my laptop doing a little bit last night. I'm like, okay, this is great. This is going to work. Get into StreamYard, whatever, to get it ready to go. And we're good. And then as soon as you start talking, of course it goes out. So I made maybe it was a panic switch. Maybe I didn't have to do that. But Nick, I think that what we can both agree is that we are glad that Brad Keller did not panic last night. What a moment for Brad Keller in the 8th inning at Wrigley.
We have so much to talk about. 402-464-5685. Before we dive into the show, want to let you know Austin and I are out in Chicago for Big Ten ESPN basketball media days. Husker women's basketball and the rest of the women's basketball teams went yesterday, and the men's side of things takes over today. And we expect today to maybe be a little bit bigger, a little bit more populated with some national folks as well. But nonetheless, we're going to hear from Rink Mass, Sam Hoiberg, Sam and Fred Hoiberg later today. And so we are excited to be out here, and then we fly back tonight, and it's back to Husker football action the rest of the week as Nebraska continues to prepare for the Maryland Terrapins. And so I think let's just start first here. For those that don't know, might not have been following along on Twitter last night, which, by the way, Nick_Sainer at Austin_Orman. It was a special evening. We got wrapped up. Amy Williams wrapped up her conversation about 2:00 or so. And that was kind of when it all settled down anyway. So it's not like we ditched work to go to a Cubs game. But then as a massive Cubs fan that I am myself, you couldn't pass up the opportunity to go to game 3 of the NLDS. Despite the Cubs being down 2-0, you could not pass up the opportunity when it is a 14-mile jaunt from our hotel. Wrigley Field is. And so Austin and I, earlier this week, we planned it out. We got tickets. We had some issues with the tickets. I was figuring them out on the tarmac of Eppley Airfield in Omaha yesterday morning. But shout out to the folks from Game Time because they helped me out dramatically. And we ended up getting some replacement tickets because the seller did not send the tickets initially that they were supposed to. And so we got some replacement tickets. They ended up being better seats. We were in Wrigley Field for the game 3 of the NLDS last night. And I understand that bias comes into it, Austin, but that might have been the best sporting event I've ever been to.
Let's tell the whole story. You're on the phone, on the tarmac, waiting for these tickets. You've done everything right. It's the seller that's trying to rip you off. And you called their bluff. So great job by you making the phone call. We get the tickets just before we take off. We go. I will also add that we did not skip any work, but we would have because it was going to be worth every second of going downtown to Wrigley Field. We did the full Chicago experience, right? We were between the Uber and the public transportation. We asked around, got different opinions, but we made the call to go with the bus or the shuttle to the subway to the bus all the way downtown. It was so worth it. Ran into plenty of Cubs fans. Looked like a family coming home from O'Hare. Guy was super helpful, giving us directions. So shout out Cubs fans for getting us down to Wrigley. What an environment. I mean, just even before the game, they block off like 2 streets around Wrigley Field. So there's just so much foot traffic. Who cares about the traffic lights? You're just in the middle of the street, pointing up at the iconic red entry to Wrigley Field sign. Our tickets were incredible. Cubs fans were incredible. What a night. What an environment even before the game. And then the Cubs make history in the first inning that you're there. Nick, you were the good luck charm. You needed to be there because they were down 2-0.
Well, and I've gotten a lot. I've actually had about 3 people DM me on Twitter that were following along. That people that don't have my just personal phone number, they DM me on Twitter asking if I'll be at Game 4 tonight because the Cubs host the Milwaukee Brewers Game 4 tonight, 8:08 p.m. Now, here's the issue: I will not be because we will be on a flight back to Omaha because work awaits tomorrow. But I did tell Austin I will be buying the Wi-Fi on the flight. Hopefully I have one of those that one of the seats. It's one of the newer United planes, and they have a TV to where I can just log in and we can watch some TV. But I will say this, and I think you and I, Austin, probably had different views of it just because as a Cubs fan versus a Royals fan, but we're both massive baseball guys. There's different ways that you can really appreciate what we saw last night. And I think on one side, it is the fandom of that team, right? But then on the other side, going to a place like Wrigley Field can be special in March or April or May. But man, when you add that playoff element and you add just a little bit of breeze and a chilly weather, and it was an afternoon game, but it quickly turned to a night game. It makes the environment and the experience just that much better. We both walked away going, playoff baseball is like nothing else. There's nothing like playoff baseball. And we felt it last night, whether you're a fan of the Cubs, Brewers, any other team in Major League Baseball, you felt the environment be
cranked up 10, 15 times what it normally is.
Well, and you and I know what playoff baseball is like because we've both experienced a World Series as a fan. Not in person, but I can only imagine you hanging on every pitch of 2016 like I did in 2015 when the Royals beat the Mets. Yours was obviously a little bit more dramatic, going 7 games and the rain delay and the Jason Hayward speech and everything. Royals wrapped that one up in 5. But man, just the road to even get there. Every pitch means so much in the postseason. You can't even say, okay, we're at 7, 8, 9, you can take a breath, because this is October. This is where legends are made. This is where heroes are made. And so, you see Jake Bauers hit the solo home run after his RBI single to bring the Brewers back within 1. Like, oh gosh, is this going to be the Jake Bauers game? But then you have the Cubs relievers step up. I want to shout out Wrigley Field for their game presentation. I mean, that's incredible. The best presented, best produced games that I've ever been to. I don't want this to be a direct shot at Nebraska, but I do think Nebraska has some stuff to learn. Fog Allen for Kansas basketball, incredible game environment. Bramlage Coliseum for Kansas State, what they were doing pregame, that was a fantastic environment before Nebraska went in there and dominated in the second half. And then last night at Wrigley, I mean, the organist was ready to go. The music people were ready to go. There wasn't a second of downtime, and not in the overstimulated, oh, there's always got to be something going on. This is catching your eye. That's catching your eye. But there's always just background noise, something going on, right? They're making a pitching change, hit the road, Jack, or bye. Another one bites the dust, stuff like that. And then the light show at the end, and maybe the most surreal post-game experience I have ever had was the 2 minutes immediately following the final. I'm not a Cubs fan. I know the words to Go Cubs Go and everything like that. But being in that moment, hearing you and me and 40,735 of our closest fans with that light show singing, Go Cubs Go after a Cubs win, I darn near got goosebumps, not even being a Cubs fan. That's just one of those baseball moments. You're in Wrigley Field. You watch an incredible game between two divisional teams, worth every penny and more.
Yeah, I mean, there's also another part of me that I was thankful that the baseball was good, right? Like whether the Brewers would have won by 8 runs or the Cubs would have won by 10 runs, it doesn't matter. That the baseball was good yesterday. Cubs win 4-3. They forced Game 4 tonight. After the Cubs scored 4 runs in the first inning, as Austin mentioned, history was made. It was the first time in almost 3,000 days that the Cubs scored more than 3 runs in a playoff game. And so it was crazy when you really think about it. But ultimately when it's all said and done, Austin, I'm going to let you take over. I have some folks that are trying to get into this room, so I'm going to let you take over here.
Oh, it sounds good. Yeah, I mean, what an incredible game. I mean, from start to finish, the Brewers come out, they score a run in the first. Cubs limit the damage. It was Jameson Taillon who held the Brewers to 1, even though they really threatened. And then the Cubs strike. Michael Busch, a leadoff home run. That was one of the first videos I posted. It was, like any good baseball fan, Nick was sitting there, no, it's not enough. It's short. It's not going to get there. There's no way. And then, you know what? It did sneak over the right field fence. So Michael Busch hits the leadoff home run, and then the Cubs pile on. Pete Crow Armstrong, your NL MVP leader, I think, really for the first couple weeks of the season, comes up in a big spot. I think it was bases loaded, delivers a 2-run single that moves Ian Happ over to third. And that became important because Happ would then go on to score on a wild pitch. And it's the little things in baseball that end up making the difference so often. You knew Milwaukee wasn't going to go away. There was quite the explosion, quite the inning from the Cubs in the first. But Milwaukee has made its living being pesky, being annoying. They found a way to chip away. And you get to, I think it was the 8th inning when Jackson Chourio leads off with a double. Milwaukee ends up loading the bases. And then here comes Brad Keller to slam the door. Incredible baseball game that was played. And I'm going to get on this soapbox again, just very briefly.
Go ahead.
I know that not everyone, goes to the game and then goes to the area surrounding the stadium after the game, right? It's not everyone, but it's a lot of people. Kansas City, build the downtown stadium. Build it. Find a way. I love Kauffman. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't want to be greedy, and say, oh, we just want a new stadium, so we have to have one. Arrowhead, I like it. I've been there a couple times. A fantastic area. I understand that tailgating is a huge piece of the culture in Kansas City, not just for football when you traditionally think of it, but even baseball. Trust me, I get it. But being able to walk around Wrigley before the game, to feel the energy. I mean, an hour before first pitch, we got there about half an hour or so, 45 minutes maybe, to feel the energy, to see Cubs fans walking around with stuff to do, with action. I mean, after the game, even we walked by Andre Dawson on his way out of the game.
Just wearing an Andre Dawson shirt.
Literally. I mean, it was incredible. It's the kind of stuff you don't get at a place that's so remote like Kauffman Stadium, which again, I have never had a bad experience at Kauffman Stadium, but being able to feel the energy at Wrigley Field and then be able to walk around Wrigleyville, go to a couple local establishments, grab a drink, grab a bite to eat, be there surrounded still by Cubs fans. The energy was still palpable. Man, Power and Light in Kansas City is so ready for that. Power and Light can handle that. I mean, I'm a baseball guy. I'm not a soccer guy. It just feels so unfair to me that the World Cup will get that experience at Power and Light with all those fans packed in there, and the stadium's a little more accessible, and that baseball in Kansas City doesn't have that. I'm a little jealous of that. And again, I know it's not for everyone, but man, it just feels like a missed opportunity for Kansas City the longer and longer this downtown stadium gets pushed off.
Well, and I think more so also, Austin, is when you look at the end of the entire thing, is it just goes to show how much Kansas City messed up, right? Like you have all this area around Kauffman and Arrowhead. I mean, I was just there in August for the Husker game. You've been there a plethora of times for baseball and football. Is that you have all this area around it with nothing to do. You or at least you had it and stuff. And there was a hotel there, and you could have built more hotels, and you could have built more attractions for people to see. But it's so far away from everything that it's like you have to plan out Uber rides. You have to plan out, okay, how are we driving back after the game gets over? There's so much you have to plan out that ultimately when it's all said and done, it's just people either when they go to the game, they're going to tailgate, and that's fine, right? That's sometimes people's jams. But then also in terms of helping out local establishments and stuff, Wrigleyville was awesome. I bought this nice little Cubby Bear hat that I'm wearing on the stream right now. You can see it on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Outlook Channel 961. I already got some texts yelling at me from Bill Bush saying, why are we wearing the hat backwards? So that's why I had to flip it around. And so we are wearing the Cubby Bear hat where it says nice little Wrigleyville in Chicago there across the bottom. So no, I think we wanted to take this first segment. We're about to go to break here in just a minute, but we wanted to take the first segment, just kind of recap NLDS Game 3. I mean, it was exceptional. It was everything. Austin and I both walked away, and we were enjoying a Cubby Bear lager after the game, celebrating the Cubs win. We were both saying it was worth every single penny. And we're fortunate enough, Austin, to go see some pretty cool sporting events, but that was one that I was thankful that we were fans for. And that goes whether it's a Cubs game, whether it would have been a Royals game, whoever. There's just some that you say, you know what, I like to be in the stands, and that was one of them.
It absolutely was. Again, I feel so fortunate, so blessed to have experienced some Royals postseason baseball last year as a working media member. And, tickets would have been expensive and, kind of cheap. Kind of got a kid and kind of got another one on the way. But yeah, we're here for work. We can't afford to not make it. Last year was special because it was the first time in darn near a decade the Royals had made it. And, can you say I stepped on the field at Kauffman Stadium? I got a, practice ball just thrown my direction. I got to keep it. Like, that's not something that, we were close to a foul ball, very close to a foul ball. We missed by about 12 or 15 rows. But I will say for me, like, I wouldn't trade my experience of covering the postseason last year for anything. But holy cow, to be in the stands as a fan, not necessarily a neutral observer. Of course, I had a slight Cubs lean last night, being in the stands with you and the Cubs fans. We're relatively polite to Brewers fans, but man, just being there as a fan of the game of baseball, to see a divisional matchup in the divisional series between two teams that have had a hotly contested series, not just this year, but really for the better part of the last decade. Holy cow. I mean, that's a bucket list sort of thing. Get yourself to Wrigley. Get yourself to, even if it's not Wrigley, whoever your team is, get yourself to one of their playoff games. I promise you it will be excruciating for every single moment that you're there, but it will always be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, the roller coaster of emotions, we rode it, and I hate roller coasters. And we rode the roller coasters of emotion last night. I did, at least. And if you wanted an update, thanks to Austin for documenting all that, because now looking back at it this morning, it was really fun to re-experience that. It was really, really cool.
My first Cubs game, it was NLDS Game 3. They won it. We all got to sing the song that I play on this show very often, and it's been a really fun time. If I wasn't worried about the internet cutting out or the stream just collapsing or my laptop blowing up into a million pieces, I would probably play the video that I took off my iPhone that it's just of the Go Cubs Go, of everybody singing it loud and proud. They don't waste any time. They start that baby immediately. As soon as that final out's recorded, Brad Keller struck out Nico Horner made a nice diving play to his left to throw out Christian Yelich to end the game. They don't waste any time. That song starts, everybody's high-fiving, high fives were on the house last night. It was a fun time. We walked in, they go, Austin and I both grabbed a rally towel to both of us. They go, no, take two, one for each hand. And it's like, all right, here we go. We're locking in right here. One last thing I will say, I told Austin we were on the Blue Line train yesterday, and I told Austin, here's my take that I'm going to tell Husker fans tomorrow. Do not get mad about paying $12 or $13 for a beer at Memorial Stadium, because for a nice little, just normal sized Michelob Ultra yesterday, it was a $19 investment. And so there was somebody on the text line, I can't remember who it was, earlier in the week when we were doing shows, that they wanted me to do a price per bite or a price per sip of Wrigley Field. Let me tell you this right now, high, because everything was very, very expensive, but it was all worth it. The atmosphere was great, and it was a really, really fun time. I was glad to be there also with resident baseball purist Austin Orman. It was a really fun time. We have so much to get to in today's show. When we come back, we're going to kind of pivot to the whole drama going in at North Carolina. I mean, what is the situation there? Bill Belichick, Michael Lombardi, his general manager, athletic director, Bubba, they're making statements, and they're like one-sentence statements, and it doesn't really provide a whole lot of confidence. There's a lot that is just coming out of the woodwork here down in Chapel Hill. I'm sure as a Duke fan, Austin is a little bit pleased to see this. However, we have so much to get to. We're going to talk that next. We'll get into a little Husker women's basketball to end the 9 o'clock hour, as well as to start the 10 o'clock hour. And then as we continue to proceed through it, we'll dive into Husker football and then Husker men's basketball. Husker men's basketball will take the Big Ten Media Day stands later on today, which is why we're here in Chicago, or in Rosemont, Illinois, officially. We are live, as you can see behind me if you're watching on the stream. I had a nice little gentleman in here the entire time, and he just left me alone. So we're all happy to see it. Austin, we'll take a break. This show sponsored by our friends at Doors Plus. Once again, 402-464-5685. Would love to hear from you guys on the Starter Heyman text line today. Huge thanks to Ellie back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios in Lincoln for pushing all the buttons and making sure we stay connected. We'll step aside. The drive continues next from Chicago. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman with you on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Join LES at 6 p.m. Thursday, October 9th at the LES Operations Center to learn about the utilities' proposed 2026 budget and electric rates, and share your input at the annual public meeting. Learn more at les.com.
Are you ready to transform your body and your life in just 10 weeks? At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, our kickboxing challenge combines heart-pumping cardio, strength training, and proven nutrition coaching to deliver real results. Lose fat, gain strength, and feel more confident than ever. Spots are limited. Don't wait. Join the next Farrell's 10-week challenge starting October 11th and take the first swing towards a healthier, stronger you. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, results, not excuses. Join today, fxblincoln.com. That's fxblincoln.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Drink locally and support local business during Lincoln's Craft Beer Week, October 11th through the 18th. Great beer, cider, distillates, and more are made right here in Lincoln. For more info, visit lincoln.org/beer-week. Brought to you by Visit Lincoln. Remember to enjoy responsibly.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
This fall, Baumgars has everything you need to get your farm ready for the season. Don't miss Fall Discount Day this Saturday, October 11th, for one day only. Get 17% off regular priced items. That's right, 17% off. From the barn to the backyard, Baumgars has you covered for all your field, farm, and fall fix-ups. Some exclusions apply. See a store associate for details. Baumgars, what you need, when you need it.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Get geared up for savings like you've never seen before during Elway Days. Their biggest sale of the year runs October 14th through the 18th when every red tagged machine is priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Don't miss out on these epic savings. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day, and it will be breezy. The afternoon high around 79. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a light breeze, below around 60. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and light winds. The afternoon high around 79. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flechter for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainer, sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com, live from Chicago, Illinois. Nick Sainert alongside Austin Orman. Not necessarily alongside. We are in the same hotel, but not next to each other, and that's okay. We appreciate you guys bearing with us in case we have any technical difficulties. I think it sounds pretty good right now, 464-5685. I've gotten good response that it's sounded good, so we both brought our microphones. We both were prepared for this as well, and so 402-464-5685, let us know how it sounds on your guys' end, wherever you're listening from. Austin, before we get into the North Carolina stuff, I have to tell you a fun story, a fun text that I woke up to this morning. Yes. So we were supposed to meet up with friend of the show, Connor Onion. We have a Dave Stieb signed card for him as well. Connor does play-by-play for Fox, does it for Big Ten Network and stuff like that. He's been on the call for multiple Nebraska games. Well, we were supposed to run into him today. We had some stuff planned that we were going to work with Connor on with this. And I get this text this morning at 7:15 a.m. from Connor. Hey, Nick, what's up, dude? I'm not going to make it over to the Big Ten Media Days today. I got called into NBA duty tonight for Bulls and Cavs. Hope you guys had a blast at Wrigley. I thought to myself, I replied back and I was like, yeah, no worries, man. Like, we'll talk, down the road, because he'll make his way to Lincoln probably for a football game. There's a couple of football games down the road that I think Fox could maybe flex into a later afternoon game, and that's the slot that Connor Onion's on. But it was funny because I thought, man, Bulls and Cavs play-by-play duties over Big Ten basketball media days. I don't know what's going on.
Well, and more importantly than Big Ten basketball media days, the signed Dave Stieb card. He knew it was coming.
Told him.
We've been waiting to give it live 2 years ago.
I did not tell him. We were texting a little bit yesterday while we were flying here, and I did not tell him that we brought this Dave Stieb card. I'm guessing that he probably not forgot about it, but just maybe thought that we forgot about it. Dave Stieb means nothing to us. Sorry, Dave, but ultimately it doesn't mean anything to us. And so he probably thinks that we forgot about it, but ultimately we did bring the signed card. But no, it's okay. Connor can go do his Bulls Cavs stuff for the NBA tonight. Anyway, we'll dive deep into North Carolina here for the next 5 to 10 minutes or so, because it feels like a dumpster fire that's just week after week growing and growing. It's becoming more and more flammable. You start out against TCU, Austin, and you have a good first drive, right? And everybody's like, oh, this is the Bill Belichick experiment that everybody thought was going to happen. And then you end up getting blown out in that very same game to TCU. You follow that up. You're able to beat Richmond. You're able to beat Charlotte. That's fine. But then you have back-to-back losses on the road at UCF and against Clemson as well. And North Carolina now is in a bye week, and things just don't feel good. And so then they have the rumors about how North Carolina head coach Bill Belichick is starting to negotiate a buyout. And then you sit there and you go, okay, well, what's going to be the update with Bill Belichick in North Carolina at some point? Michael Lombardi is their GM. There's been a lot of rumors about how Bill Belichick hasn't, allowed things about the New England Patriots to be front and center in the North Carolina, locker rooms and in those offices. it just feels like a really bad situation for the Tar Heels right now. They come out with statements last night, and we know this, Austin, as good as anybody. A statement from your head coach and athletic directors during a bye week and in the middle of the season really is not always a good look. Bill Belichick said this, quote, "I'm fully committed to UNC football and the program we're building here." That's it. Bubba Cunningham, the director of athletics for North Carolina, said, quote, "Coach Belichick has the full support of the Department of Athletics and University," end quote. That was all. That's it. Things just do not feel very good right now for the folks in Chapel Hill.
25 words. You told me that they put out statements. I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. I wonder what they had to say. Nothing. They said nothing. You put out 25 words worth of statements. And these things we all know by now are not meant to inspire confidence. They're not meant to improve resolve. Really what happens when these statements get put out is it pisses fans off. Why? Coach sucks. Just get him out of here. I mean, just pay the buyout. We'll find the money. That's all that ever happens. Now, it's funny for a couple of reasons. Number one, because that's the most Bill Belichick level statement. But let's not forget Bubba Cunningham's involvement in this, and that Bill Belichick wasn't his choice. At least one or two people on the Board of Regents were the ones that kind of went behind Bubba Cunningham's back, went over his head, and said, no, we have connections to Bill Belichick. We're going to do whatever it takes to get him to Chapel Hill. So I have no love lost for really any program at North Carolina. You know, that is very well documented on this station. I have slightly less disdain for the football program, but at the end of the day, I'm also not a Bill Belichick guy. I mean, he ruined Peyton Manning's playoffs too many times. I can't be happy for Bill Belichick. So I'm more happy to see the downfall of Bill Belichick than I am of the North Carolina football program. I can only imagine being in Bubba Cunningham's shoes where maybe there's some slight sense of vindication about, yeah, I didn't want to hire this guy. I told you it was just a publicity stunt. He didn't have it in this changing landscape of college athletics. But you don't have any time to gloat that you were right because football's your moneymaker. I get basketball school at North Carolina, but football still brings in the money. And now you have to go clean up someone else's mess. And it's not going to be easy because you're going to have to be the guy that fired Bill Belichick. It's one thing if you're Robert Kraft and you have a 20-plus year relationship with a guy and things start to go sour so you can mutually part ways and you'll have your statue and we'll bring you back to honor you down the road. But if you're Bubba Cunningham, you have no ties to this guy. Maybe that makes it easier. Maybe it makes it harder. But to go from 33rd NFL team to recruiting violations, potentially serious ones with your DB's coach giving out sideline passes like they're candy to recruits' families. I mean, come on. I feel like our I don't even know if hype is the right word, but I think the fact that we gave Bill Belichick the benefit of the doubt, at least in the long term at North Carolina, was correct. Maybe we shouldn't be astounded by how quickly that this has all fallen to pieces. But I'm still floored. I didn't think it would be this bad. But here we are that we get 25 words worth of statements in early October. It's a kiss of death.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because I think it also tarnishes Bill Belichick a little bit, right? Like I think there's from the human side of things, like I think it's okay for us to address this to where he's been in the spotlight because of the relationship with Jordan and things like that, right? The young girlfriend, like he's been in the spotlight for that, right? But then you take away and say, okay, that's the personal business on the side. But then you bring it into football. I mean, this is a coach who has multiple Super Bowls. He's coached the best quarterback potentially of all time in Tom Brady. You sit there and you go, we as casual fans, like the way that his stuff in New England ended, it just felt stale. Like towards the end, it was like, okay, they ushered out an era of Tom Brady. Maybe it's time we just go ahead and reset altogether. And that's fine. Like I think it's okay that after a while, you just say, you know what? We want a new challenge. We want a new face. We want a couple of new things, and we're just going to mutually part ways. And it's going to be to the benefit of everybody involved. Because I think it was time for Bill Belichick to get out of New England. I think it was time for New England to go a separate way and kind of pivot away from that era of a lot of success. And ultimately, I think that was the right call for everybody. Now, the unfortunate part is this does tarnish, I think, Bill Belichick and the way we view him as a football coach, because now all these skeptics are going to come out here and go, all right, so how much of the Patriots' success was Bill Belichick? And maybe there were some folks that already thought that. We had some texts on the text line talking about when Brady left the Patriots, Tom still won, Bill didn't. He won because of Tom Brady and stuff. And I don't know if I would go that far. However, I mean, this does, I think, tarnish the way we view Bill Belichick and just the back end of his career.
It does. I think it has to. I mean, he's not Pete Carroll. He's not Bill Walsh when it comes to success at both the NFL, college football levels. Jimmy Johnson is another name that would come to mind, maybe even Barry Switzer to a degree. And that's fine. But I think the problem for a lot of those guys, Nick, that they get up to that level of success is they've done it their way for so long. And they've had their hand involved in everything. I think the underrated part of the demise of Bill Belichick, if you will, in New England was that his player evaluation skills seemed to diminish, or they couldn't find people that fit exactly what they wanted. So that pipeline of talent that New England always seemed to have in the draft, right? Find those under the radar gems off the waiver wire in the 5th or 6th round of the draft and create productive NFL players out of them. That's gone out the window. And that's translated down to college, where Bill Belichick in North Carolina, we had a report last week about how they were competing with Group of 5 schools for players, not Power 4 schools, but what a Group of 5 coach said, yeah, when I'm consistently getting beat on the recruiting trail by a Power 4, I know that team's not going to be very good. That was North Carolina under Bill Belichick. And I'm not praying for the guy's downfall. I've never met him. Not a fan of what he did to my teams. But when you see a legend like that have hard times, you understand why they didn't hang it up when they were on top, because they have that competitive drive that's made them so great for so long. But I think it always just leaves us a little wistful of like, man, what if the ego had gotten out of the way? What if, there was a better sense for, yep, my time has come. I'm going to feel like I left closer to on top and not let it get to this point. Maybe that's a fear of failure sort of mindset. But I do think if legacy matters to these guys at the highest level, it's got to start being a consideration for more of them.
Yeah, I think, we'll see if Bill Belichick, I would imagine, I don't know, for a place like North Carolina, is there benefit to fire him mid-season? I think you would do it this week, honestly, because you have a bye week. And as we see, that's how college programs like to operate. And you can't blame them, right? It allows the interim to get in there for an extra week of time. But you would have already seen it happen, I think, at the end of last week's loss to Clemson, which – I don't know what the college football world would have said if Bill Belichick would have been fired after just 4 games, right? Like firing him after 1 year is crazy enough. If they were to fire him after 4 games, it's even worse. So ultimately, I think that, North Carolina will see it through. They'll see the season through. They'll probably address expectations. Bubba Cunningham. Don't forget, Bubba Cunningham, it has been in the news a lot for the whole NCAA, just the selection committee and stuff like that. There's a lot there. And so North Carolina has kind of hurt their reputation. It feels like ever since Mack Brown, like they went out and they brought in Mack Brown and they were like, okay, we're going to go to this experienced, successful at another program coach that comes back to North Carolina. Sure, there was previous ties there. It was fine, right? Like there's a couple NFL guys, Mitch Trubisky, Amarion Hampton, that type of thing. But you said something earlier, Austin, and we'll do this before we get to break, where you were like the coaches in New England, they didn't know who to go out and get to fit Bill Belichick, right? Like, and I think that can also be translated to the college game of like, if you don't have, number one, the understanding of what you want or what you need, and then number 2, the willingness to then adapt and pivot and change if needed, you're going to fail. And I think we're starting to see that a little bit with Bill Belichick already.
I think we are. I mean, the NFL rules changed, but not as drastically as college footballs did. The NFL schemes changed, but not as drastically as college footballs did. And so Bill Belichick was at the front of a lot of those, or even if he wasn't making the same changes as some other teams, he was able to adapt to it and keep his teams competitive enough that what he did worked for so long. That's where you look at a guy like Nick Saban, right, who obviously just retired a couple of years ago, And then the transformation that he was able to make from that run game, defense, game manager, quarterback into wide open offenses and still be able to recruit at a high level, right? Nick Saban barely missed a beat. I mean, a couple quote unquote down years where you lose in the Sugar Bowl. That's not really a down year. So I don't necessarily blame Bill Belichick for not knowing what a successful team and program looks like at the college level, having never been there or done that. But it does just, I think, lend more credence to maybe Bill Belichick, should have mined the college ranks for some of these coaches with these relationships instead of people he already knew and people with NFL ties, because it's both football, but they're incredibly different games.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. All right, let's get to break real quick. Commercial break here. When we come back, we'll wrap up the 9 o'clock hour on the Drive 93.7 The Ticket.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through October 12th, enjoy 6-ounce USDA choice bacon wrap filet mignon for $9.99 each. 10-pound tubes of 85% lean ground beef, $4.99 per pound. All-natural, thick-cut, bone-in pork chops, $1.99 per pound. And Miller Lite or Coors Light, 24 packs, $17.99 each when you buy 2. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Are you ready to transform your body and your life in just 10 weeks? At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, our kickboxing challenge combines heart-pumping cardio, strength training, and proven nutrition coaching to deliver real results. Lose fat, gain strength, and feel more confident than ever. Spots are limited. Don't wait. Join the next Farrell's 10-week challenge starting October 11th and take the first swing towards a healthier, stronger you. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, results, not excuses. Join today, fxblincoln.com. That's fxblincoln.com.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall, they go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day, and it will be breezy. In the afternoon, high around 79. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a light breeze, low around 60. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and light winds. In the afternoon, high around 79. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flechter for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 7th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Drink locally and support local business during Lincoln's Craft Beer Week, October 11th through the 18th. Great beer, cider, distillates, and more are made right here in Lincoln. For more info, visit lincoln.org/beer-week. Brought to you by Visit Lincoln. Remember to enjoy responsibly.
When the clock strikes 0 after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket for each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the players and coaches too. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show, sponsored by Anderson Ford and Vinny Krekak of State Farm Insurance.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Now back to the drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainer, sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in from Chicago, Illinois. Nick Sainert alongside Austin Orman with you here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Real quick, very fast segment before we welcome in the 10 o'clock hour in just a few minutes. Austin, I got to say, so in this office that I'm in right now, there is the restaurant that we have in the bottom of our hotel. Mm-hmm. It's a pizzeria. And here's the thing. Is there's a picture of a deep dish pizza that's been staring at me the entire show today. And I wasn't hungry when I got in here. I am hungry now because this looks incredible. And so I don't know. We talked about getting deep dish tonight before we get out of here because we're going to have a couple of hours to kill. I don't know if I can wait that long. It might be deep dish for lunch and dinner.
Well, in that case, we're going to have to get it delivered to the convention center. And I think that might be the move, given the hospitality, shall we say. I mean, it's very nice. The Big Ten staff has done a great job. It's not an elite spread by any sense, but when you have as many people in one room as you can, you got to do the whole mass-produced thing. So a big shout out, a big thank you to everyone at the Big Ten offices for getting this set up and having us along. But yeah, deep dish pizza, probably the move. I'm not overly surprised you haven't had it. I mean, if you haven't been to Wrigley before last night, it makes some sense, right? If you're not a huge Chicago guy. I will say I'm not the biggest deep dish guy. It's just too complicated, right? I don't want to eat it with a fork. I don't need that much sauce. I would be able to hold it in my hand, eat it as I walk or whatever. But it's one of those things when you tried a Chicago dog last night at Wrigley, we need your review on that first of all.
The grilled Chicago dog. So I did the whole thing. It was a grilled Chicago dog. The bun was exquisite. The dog was fine, right? Like there's something about a hot dog at a ballpark. I paid $16 for a hot dog, by the way, folks, and that's ridiculous. But it was less than beer by $3. Anyway, it was, so the Chicago dog was delicious. It had grilled onions on it, which was really good. I'm a big relish guy, so I put relish on it, put some additional just raw onion on it, and then put a little bit of mustard on there as well. And it was very, very good. I mean, it was delicious, but I don't know if I could draw up a more heavenly scenario for me rather than eating a hot dog, a grilled Chicago dog, drinking a beer at Wrigley Field for playoff baseball. I think I reached my peak happiness last night, and
I don't know how I'm going to top it going forward. It made me think, Austin, like I have to come to a Cubs playoff game every year that they're in it, just one.
It's a life-changing experience to witness playoff baseball for your team, and especially at a venue like Wrigley. I mean, I would not blame you if that becomes an annual tradition. Let me know when the Cubs are playing and when you're out of town. I'm here for you for the drive. Like, trust me, if anyone at the station, I get it. I got you.
I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, 10 o'clock hour, all Huskers. We're going to dive into a couple of the conversations we had yesterday with Callan Hake, Britt Prince, Amy Williams, and company there. Huge thanks to the SID, Jeff Greesh, more than accommodating for access and conversations with the players. Thanks in advance to Seamus for tonight, Seamus McKnight, later today for the access that we're going to get with Rink Mast and Sam Hoiberg and Fred Hoiberg later on today as we pivot and turn our attention to Husker men's basketball coverage and Big Ten men's basketball media days action later on today. And so with all that, and then we'll also preview Nebraska, Maryland. We'll continue that conversation because in less than 48 hours or just a little over 48 hours, Nebraska is going to play a football game, and they're 4-1. They're 2 games away from bowl eligibility. There's a lot on the line the rest of the month here in October. So we'll dive into that with Austin and myself. Once again, the phone number to call or text 402-464-5685. Thanks to Ellie back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios for pushing all the buttons, making sure we get connected and stay connected here in Chicago. All right, we'll step aside. 10 o'clock hour of the drive brought to you by our friends at Doors Plus continues next here on 93.7 The Ticket.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Nebraska Lottery.
Do you have a new lotto game called Nebraska Pick 4?
Yes, sir. It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you can choose from 6 different bet types.
Kind of like Nebraska Pick 3 with a bigger jackpot and more bet options?
Yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I misplaced my phone. Do you know where it is?
You're using it.
Ah, so I am. You lottery people know everything.
Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
Hey, Husker fans, Max 10 is turning up the excitement this season. They're giving away a pair of Husker volleyball tickets, and every time you tan, you're entered to win. Experience the 2025 season tour featuring high-pressure tanning, rejuvenating red light therapy, and flawless spray tanning, all for just $20.25. Look good, feel amazing, and cheer on the Lady Huskers in style. Max 10. Take it to the max. Drink locally and support local business during Lincoln's Craft Beer Week, October 11th through the 18th. Great beer, cider, distillates, and more are made right here in Lincoln. For more info, visit lincoln.org/beer-week. Brought to you by Visit Lincoln. Remember to enjoy responsibly.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Get geared up for savings like you've never seen before during Elway Days. Their biggest sale of the year runs October 14th through the 18th when every red tagged machine is priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Don't miss out on these epic savings. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day, and it will be breezy. In the afternoon, high around 79. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a light breeze, a low around 60. Tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and light winds. In the afternoon, high around 79. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, I'm Sarai, your personal banker here at Midwest Bank. I'm proud to serve our community in English and in Espanol because everyone deserves a banker who understands them. This Hispanic Heritage Month, we're celebrating the traditions, values, and dreams that make our community strong. Whether you're opening your first account, planning for the future, or growing your business, estoy aquí para ayudarle a alcanzar sus metas. I'm here to help you reach your goals. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through October 12th, enjoy 6-ounce USDA choice bacon wrap filet mignon for $9.99 each. 10-pound tubes of 85% lean ground beef, $4.99 per pound. All-natural, thick-cut, bone-in pork chops, $1.99 per pound. And Miller Lite or Coors Light, 24 packs, $17.99 each when you buy 2. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn. Hey guys, it's Nick. Join me and Jay Foreman this Friday night as we bring you Bellevue West versus Lincoln Southwest, live from Seacrest Field with kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. Lincoln Southwest has won 2 games in a row thanks to a convincing 35-13 win versus Lincoln Northeast last week, and they now get ready to face off against the Thunderbirds. Pre-game is slated for 6:45 p.m. with kickoff expected at 7 p.m., and you can hear all the action between Bellevue West and Lincoln Southwest unfold right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert, driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of BJ Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
Sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in hour 2 of the show with you here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert alongside Austin Orman from Chi-Town, Chicago, Illinois, where we're coming at you live here on a Thursday. Both of us will be back in town tomorrow for our shows. I got to fill in for Jake Sorensen on early break, and so I'll be hanging out with Bill and Sip. We get in about 9:45 or so tonight. It's going to be a quick turnaround early morning for your boy tomorrow. But that's all right as we turn our attention back
to Husker football, high school football tomorrow night. Bellevue West and Lincoln Southwest will be the game that Jay Foreman and I have on the ticket. All right, Austin, let's recap yesterday, day one of Big Ten basketball media days. The women's side of things went first. They go yesterday. Men's go today. We had a chance to sit down with Callan Hake, Britt Prince, and then Amy Williams as well on the side podium. Had some one-on-one conversations with both Callan and Britt yesterday afternoon as well. Was there anything, let's start with the head coach. Was there anything that stood out to you about anything that Amy Williams said on her side podium?
There we go. There are two things that really stood out to me from Amy Williams. The first thing was I asked her about the success that her teams have had really over the last 5 years. I think Nebraska's qualified for some form of postseason in 7 out of the 9 seasons, or 6 out of the 9 seasons so far for Coach Williams, entering her 10th season at Nebraska, which is kind of crazy to think that she's been here this long already. And aside from that first year where Nebraska went 7-22, it's been a very respectable program. It's been in the postseason pretty consistently. And I asked her, especially over the last 5 years, with 2 WNIT appearances, a third round appearance a couple of years ago, and then three NCAA tournament appearances in the last 4 years. I just wanted to know from Coach Williams what she thinks has been the key to her program's success in making it to March and that becoming the expectation. And she said roster continuity. And we heard that from Callan and Britt earlier when they noted that they didn't have a single player transfer out of the program. A few interesting additions I know we'll get to here in a little bit. But roster continuity is not easy to come by in college sports. Nebraska women's basketball has found a way over the last handful of years to absorb the normal losses to graduation and sure, maybe a transfer here or there. But the core of what Amy Williams wants to accomplish on the court is still there and has been there. It's been a group that's been able to learn and grow together over the last couple of years, right? You think about the class just last year that ended up playing some minutes for Nebraska. You look at that sophomore class of Petra Bojan, who came on strong. Obviously, Britt Prince and Maya Hargrove had some moments as well. They'll line up now with Natalie Potts as a redshirt sophomore. That's a core that's going to play together. Jess Petrie is a junior. She came in a similar time, and they got a lot of reps together as well. So to have that group, that core of players be able to get to know each other, not just, as teammates off the court, but especially on the court, how they work together. I think that goes a long way toward, the next goal for Nebraska that Amy Williams talked about, and that's hosting. I hadn't really thought about it like this before, Nick, but of course the women's tournament has a slightly different setup than the men's, where they're not just getting shipped all the way across the country. You have your host sites, your top 16 teams, just like, baseball, will host essentially their version of a regional. And so last year, Nebraska women's basketball earned the equivalent of a 3 seed in a regional. And that's kind of where Nebraska's programs have been, where they're usually good enough to qualify for the postseason in some form or fashion, but rarely at the top, getting the chance to host. And so Amy Williams said the next step for her program is to become a program that doesn't just make the postseason, but hosts some games in the postseason. That's a bit of a jump. Nebraska hasn't been in the top 25 much, maybe fringy top 35 or 30 type of team, where that they're a solid NCAA tournament type of team, very rarely in jeopardy of missing it. But, essentially you have to double your standing right now. And so to me, the next step is, can you be the home team wearing the white jersey going on the road, right? Can you be the 7 instead of the 10, the 6 instead of the 11? But then I do think that is a good big picture goal for this program to shoot for as it continues to grow, where you feel like, okay, they're going to be in the postseason. How far can they make it? What does it take for Nebraska to build to that next step of being not just a top 30 team in the country, but a top 16 team in the country and getting the chance to host hopefully the first 2 rounds at Pinnacle Bank Arena, if not beyond?
Well, and I'm glad that everybody knows that we're resident baseball guys, but I'm glad that we brought in that sport into this. And you could say the same about softball, right? Like I think about any of the sports where, depending on your seeding, you can host a regional. I think this is applicable to where even in softball, right? Like Nebraska, if they're a top 16, they're hosting, and a lot of Rhonda Revelle and Will Bolt will tell you that that's like the next step for them is to consistently host a regional. And I think Nebraska softball has a pretty good chance to do that this next season. However, when it comes to Nebraska women's basketball, this is where I will say that they have an advantage over baseball. A big deterrent for Nebraska baseball is the lack of strength in the conference. Husker women's basketball, Big Ten women's basketball doesn't have that. You have one of the best teams in the country in UCLA. You have one of the best well-known athletes playing for one of your teams in the country in Juju Watkins at USC. Nebraska is not picked in the top 5, but they're looking at another 20-plus win season this year. Like, they are not picked to finish in the top 5. The official rankings that came out, they only released the top 5 in women's basketball, where in men's they do all of them. And so if I had to guess, I'd put like Nebraska like 6, or not 6, maybe 7th or 8th in the conference. Like, I feel like that's a pretty good spot. But last year, Amy Williams talked about it. 12 Big Ten women's basketball teams got into the NCAA tournament. It's a similar conversation that we have with Husker men's basketball. You don't have to be number 1 or number 2. You just have to be above a median line, essentially, to put yourself into that conversation at least consistently.
If you're in the middle, you got a chance. You're on the bubble. If you're in the top middle, you're probably in. And that's where, Nick, I think that the next step too for Nebraska women's basketball is to continue to refine that identity. I know you asked about it, and Callan Hake gave some coach speaks and buzzwords for it, and we didn't expect her to reveal any state secrets. She talked more about the attitude identity of the team: relentless, gritty, competitive, playing with joy, all that good stuff. And more power to them if that's how they're going to play. But in terms of the product on the court, culture can certainly help elevate you, but you actually got to have the pieces to do it on the court. It's been the front court for Nebraska for the last few years. So, understandably so. And you have, maybe not, an inner circle, program Hall of Famer in Alexis Markowski, but certainly a productive player over the course of 4 years, following in the footsteps of Izzy Bourne, who had a productive 4 years. You can go back to the glory days, and there's been a lot of great work done in the front court by Nebraska women's basketball posts. This is where I'm curious to see, because guards win in March, just how good Britt Prince can be. The quiet assassin, Amy Williams continued to call her, right? A huge get for Nebraska, at least a top 25 player in her class, if not even a top 10 player. Just how good can Britt Prince be? Just how good can Nebraska free Britt Prince up to be? The most important thing, I think, for Nebraska is going to be the supporting pieces around her, right? Because we think that we heard from Amy Williams, she loves the summer that Petra Bojan has had, getting more physical, demanding the ball in the low post. Amy Williams says they need that. Okay, that's great. But can Nebraska then play inside out? Because the front court heavy strategy is a great way to get you through the regular season with 18 plus wins, maybe get up to 20. But it really, truly, and has always been, that guards are the difference makers in March. If Britt Prince takes a leap, if Logan Nisley and Callan Hake and some of the transfers that Nebraska got, like Emily Fisher's name came up a couple times, Claire Johnson could put it in the basket at Samford in her time. What those players have to do is defend well enough and shoot well enough, right? Let Britt Prince be the engine of shot creation. And then in the front court, right, do the little things, get your rebounds, protect the rim as best you can. But I don't think that the front court is going to determine Nebraska's ceiling. To me, it's going to be, how do those backcourt pieces gel, and can Nebraska find a wing stopper that tell me that this program can be ready to take the next step?
Yeah, Nebraska women's basketball, they will open the season October 24th in an exhibition game against Mount Marty at PBA. That's at 8 p.m. You can watch that one on Big Ten Plus. A lot of Nebraska's first couple of games will be on Big Ten Plus before they play Creighton on November 12th. That one will be on Fox Sports 1. They get the Blue Jays at home this year. And then a couple of games that are on Big Ten Network, and there's even a game later on in the season that when they go to the Emerald Coast down in Niceville, Florida, they will play on Flow Sports, one of everybody's favorite streaming platforms. So when I say all this to say this, though, it's hard to believe that Amy Williams has been here for 10 years, right? Like, this is her going into her 10th season. I think that when you look at the guard play that you talked about, Austin, there's so much about Britt Prince that not a lot of people talk about. Logan Nisley. Not a lot of people are talking about some of those other players
that are around, right? Like Allison Widener is back for another year. And so much of the success of Nebraska women's basketball over the last couple of years has been determined by the injuries or lack thereof. Nebraska took a little bit of a step back, losing Natalie Potts in other games, to where if Allison Weiner can stay healthy, she provides some leadership on and off the floor. Callan Hake is also a player who we talked to yesterday, where I told you, Austin, I feel like for Britt, her leadership comes on the floor. For Callan, a lot of it is off of the floor, and you could just tell that by the way that she communicated with us yesterday. That's something that she really takes pride in.
It is. I mean, that's your student athlete advisory committee president doing something with the Big Ten as well. And I think she was a more than deserving, almost a no-brainer choice for Nebraska to bring out to Big Ten media days, handled the moment really well. And there are going to be moments where Nebraska needs Callan Hake, like you said. I mean, 11 other teams and Nebraska from the Big Ten made it to the NCAA tournament, right? There are going to be moments where Nebraska faces that adversity. I think Callan Hake has been a big part of integrating the new transfers, right? Some of them have Big Ten experience, but most of which you have at least Power 4 level experience. And that sort of leadership is invaluable for Nebraska. And you hope for a player like Callan Hake, who's played over 30 games each of her 3 years on campus so far. Started 30 last year, I think, out of 33 or so for Nebraska after being a bench player her first couple years. I'm curious to see the impact that she's able to make on the floor, because Nebraska has a bunch of guards that are similarly sized and do a bunch of similar things, right? Callan Hake and Logan Nisley and Claire Johnson, all similar size, have some overlap. Allison Widener may be a little bit more in tune on the defensive end than the offensive end, but can certainly go get a bucket if you need one. That's where it's going to be really fascinating to watch these first couple of weeks of the season for Nebraska women's basketball, to see who comes out hot. Because I think there are minutes up for grabs for a team that I'm sure has a plan for what it wants to be, but I don't think it'll be the same sort of lineups that we've gotten accustomed to seeing. And so, is Callan Hake a player that ends up as in her senior year leading more in that off the floor way, playing her bench role, or is she able to take that step and be consistent as a player as a senior and provide both on and off court leadership, right? Logan Nisley, how consistent can she be now that seems like she's pretty healthy, good to go? Claire Johnson, can she make the Birdie Rimdahl, adjustment and splash as a transfer early on? Nebraska has a bunch of good, quote unquote, littles, right? In terms of its guards, Nebraska has some good bigs in the post. It'll come down to the wings. And if Nebraska can play, get away with playing 3 guards at a time and not need anyone consistently on the wing, or, if Eliza Maupin, who Amy Williams called maybe the most athletic player she's ever coached, that's certainly high praise. If she can carve out a consistent role, can Nebraska play with 2 guards, play with 1 wing, and then the 2-person really front court get the high-low that Nebraska's really liked the last couple of years. It's just a fascinating blend of games here, I think, for Nebraska. And, like any team, the first couple of weeks are going to be huge in determining those roles. But the flip side of that is Nebraska seems to have depth, where if one player doesn't have it going for a couple of weeks at a time, it's a struggle, something's going on off the court, whatever you might have, Nebraska has options. It shouldn't be a big fall-off where Nebraska has 5.5 or 6, dependable players. This should be a deep Nebraska women's basketball team that might not be able to beat you in a variety of ways, but certainly with a variety of players.
Yeah, you're right. And before we get to break here, one last 402-464-5685. The Starter Heyman text line is open. We got this question: will Kennedy Williams ever enter the picture for basketball? I would say this. You mentioned depth. I look at Kennedy when it comes to women's basketball as a more of a depth piece. When you look at her and what she can do for the Husker softball team, I think that there's more for her there. I think that there's more of an opportunity for Kennedy there. Now, I did speak a little bit about it yesterday, talking about how, hey, you know what, when we're in there, we're on the same wavelength, kind of, to where I'll say something or she'll say something that I was thinking about saying, and she goes, so we're kind of on the same wavelength. Obviously, Kennedy was dealing with a torn ACL rehab last season, and was primarily just a pinch runner for Husker softball during their season. But she's one of the players that I think And you kind of can always tell when that season starts for dual sport athletes, which one do they prioritize? Kennedy Williams, she'll start out with the basketball team, but then once softball stuff begins, she kind of goes more into that one. And so I look at, in terms of the question, do I think she'll enter the picture for Husker women's basketball? Maybe in a very small sample size, but do I think she'll at some point enter the picture for Husker softball? I do, because I think she's very, very talented in that sport.
Yeah, we heard from Coach Williams, who said, she was involved with the team, feels like she's been around the team for her entire life. But then when softball season came around, that's when her involvement with basketball didn't dwindle to zero, but softball ended up taking priority. So I think the story would be cool, right? If you can have both coaches' kids on the men's and women's side playing a similar-ish sort of role. I mean, Amy Williams even said if Kennedy wants to get on the floor for her, she's going to have to defend 94 feet, right? Provide that pressure in the backcourt. So I think there's a role for that early on, right? Get her some minutes, save some legs, especially with Allison Widener coming back, right? I think those two can fill a pretty similar role for Nebraska. But then I think toward the middle of the season and beyond, that's where you look at, Allison Widener hopefully staying healthy and taking more of those minutes, because I do think there's a pretty bright future ahead for Kennedy Williams on the diamond. I do think at the end of the day, though, it'll be Sam Hoiberg with the edge in minutes and impact under Coach Parent as opposed to Kennedy Williams.
Speaking of Sam Hoiberg, we will hear from him later today, as well as Rink Mast. There's a lot of excitement about Rink and Sam, especially Rink, though, after the injury last year, having to sit out more so last year. Fred Hoiberg. We talked about rosters and roster construction, Husker women's basketball on one side. There haven't been a ton of transfer additions. Husker men's basketball, though, lots of new faces on this year's roster. We break all of that down and more. We probably dive into a little Husker football as well. What are we looking forward to hearing about today when we speak to Fred Hoiberg, Sam Hoiberg, and Rink Mast at Big Ten Basketball Men's Media Days later this afternoon? We will dive into all of that, talk about that here on The Drive when we come back in just a few minutes on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Copple Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Copple is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers who helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Copple Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at copplecars.com.
Advanced Medical Imaging is hosting their third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk on October 11th at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Hear inspiring stories from survivors, enjoy local food truck vendors, a live DJ, and other family-friendly activities as we unite to bring awareness about breast cancer. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. with the walk starting at 9. Register your team today for Advanced Medical Imaging's third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk online at amimaging.com. Let's walk for those we've lost, for those still fighting, and for a future without breast cancer.
Hey, Husker fans, Max 10 is turning up the excitement this season. They're giving away a pair of Husker volleyball tickets, and every time you tan, you're entered to win. Experience the 2025 season tour featuring high-pressure tanning, rejuvenating red light therapy, and flawless spray tanning, all for just $20.25. Look good, feel amazing, and cheer on the Lady Huskers in style. Max Tan, take it to the max.
Tune in every Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. for The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Sit back and enjoy listening to Dr. Chatters discuss real stories involving struggle, inspiration, and real-life experiences with special guests and insights. Remember, the higher the pressure, the greater the lift. The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Every Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Get geared up for savings like you've never seen before during Elway Days. Their biggest sale of the year runs October 14th through the 18th, when every red tag machine is priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Don't miss out on these epic savings. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has zero hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com. Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hey guys, it's Nick. Join me and Jay Foreman this Friday night as we bring you Bellevue West versus Lincoln Southwest, live from Seacrest Field with kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. Lincoln Southwest has won 2 games in a row thanks to a convincing 35-13 win versus Lincoln Northeast last week, and they now get ready to face off against the Thunderbirds. Pre-game is slated for 6:45 p.m. with kickoff expected at 7 p.m., and you can hear all the action between Bellevue West and Lincoln Southwest unfold right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert, sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back. Welcome in 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Austin Orman with you here on The Drive. Less than half an hour left in the show before Austin and I then have to make our way over to the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center here in Rosemont, Illinois, for Big Ten Men's Basketball Media Days. A little bit of a different look than Mandalay Bay was for football, Austin.
Little bit.
A little bit. So got fountains, pretty nice fountains out there in front. You might be convinced that you're walking into the Rose Bowl, not just Rosemont. There's some rose decorations out front of this convention center. It's pretty big. It's not Mandalay Bay.
Yeah, it is not. It is not Mandalay Bay. I would say this: if we went from our hotel and walked to the convention center, it'd probably be the same distance, honestly, that from walking from our hotel room through the casino, through all the other convention centers, up the escalators, and finally to Big Ten Media Days that it was in Vegas. And I don't know, now that I'm thinking about that, I thought initially when I said that was a pretty far-fetched, take. I don't know if it'd be much different.
It's probably about the same amount of time walking at the very least, which would lead you to believe the distance is at least comparable. I mean, shout out our Uber drivers who have been absolutely fantastic so far. And, we're not hauling quite the same amount of luggage that we did at Mandalay Bay with all the radio gear that we had. But holy cow, that was a trek. I mean, we were 18th floor, 20th floor at Mandalay Bay, down the elevators, all the way through the casino, past the Aces Arena and the food court, just to go, that was a trek. I kind of spaced that off. That was
that whole trip was kind of crazy. The whole idea of, I think I told this story on air. If not, I'll refresh it. I bought a Subway sandwich a couple of times at that food court in Mandalay Bay. And I paid, I think it was like $27 for a foot long, $24 is $27 for a foot long sandwich, which was crazy. But then I came back home and I ended up playing in a slow pitch softball tournament that next weekend in Hastings, Nebraska. And we went to Subway because that's one of the few spots that they have near the fields. And I bought the same exact sandwich for $11. That's when I realized, I don't know how people live out there. And I know everybody says it. Well, the people that live in Vegas and stuff, they don't live on the Strip. Yeah, I get that. I understand that point. But there's still, I mean, the idea that you want to travel there is crazy. And to me, it was a great time. Don't get me wrong. It was a great time. But good thing Jay Foreman was with us as well. But anyway, with it being said, it is Big Ten basketball media days today. The men's side of things commence here in a little bit at 11:30. They'll start it up. We'll hear from Ringmaster Sam Hoiberg and Fred Hoiberg today. Austin, I think the big question, and we're not going to get this answer until a couple of weeks into the season, is what this rotation is going to look like. There's so many different options. There's so many different combinations, and there's just a lot of new faces. This is going to be a team that I think it takes Husker fans a couple of weeks to truly kind of start to learn, because now there's going to be a lot of new faces on this floor. Bryce Williams is gone. Juwan Gary is gone. A long list of other guys that Nebraska has been accustomed to seeing over the last couple of years are no longer here. You look at the faces that do come back. Rink and Sam are two of the most. And then you look at Jamarcus Lawrence as well, to where he left and now has come back. What's the big question for you going into Big Ten Media Days today?
The question for me when I look at just Nebraska's season as a whole is going to be, can they become really the most consistent offensive team Nebraska's seen since our guy Strick left school? Probably. It's been a minute since Nebraska has been able to put the ball in the basket at a high rate consistently. Of course, there have been teams that have moments, but I just don't see much defensive potential with this team. Of course, I'll say they pride themselves on it. They're working on it. They have some people that can guard, but I don't think this is going to be a defensive-minded team. I want to see if Nebraska has put an emphasis on transition, if Nebraska has put an emphasis on grab and go, if Nebraska is just going to put an emphasis on, if you're open, shoot it, right? If you have a sliver of space. Fred Hoiberg has talked at length about how well this team has shot it in the offseason. And I'm sure in a vacuum, this team does have a bunch of good shooters. Jamarcus is a 38% guy. Sam was good last year. Rink for his size, obviously. I mean, Price Sanford, I think, can shoot it. They've raved about Frager. Kendall Blue is a big transfer portal addition. They like Berke and Oogie being able to stretch the floor a little bit as well. But at the end of the day, that comes down to, how does Nebraska create those shots? It's one thing to be good shooters at a standstill in a gym, right? There are lots of those across college basketball. But there were times last year where it felt like the offense devolved into Bryce or Juwan, go rescue us. And that's not healthy. I don't think there's a Bryce Williams on this roster. Certainly not until Kendall Blue gets settled, but he doesn't play the same way as Bryce Williams. And then I think back to a couple of years ago. Okay, you have Rienk Mast around. He's obviously going to be the hub for this team. And we know that. That's not any heavily guarded secret. But then it comes down to, do we remember just how often Keisei Tominaga bailed Nebraska out? For stretches and stretches at a time sometimes was, man, they really did just let Keisei cook. He hit some ridiculous stuff. He found some angles that other people couldn't. So it's not something that we're going to get the answers from Sam and Rienk about today. But I am curious to see those two guys and their role, what they're able to play, excuse me, in making sure Nebraska's offense is humming, for 36 minutes of a game. You'll go through stretches, you'll go through lulls, you have possessions that don't click. But I think Sam and Rienk, their basketball IQ, their knowledge of the system, and their ability to space the floor, I think those are going to be two kind of the tone setters for Nebraska's offense, in remembering that they have to do things the right way every single possession, where the little things matter for this team more so than they did a couple of years ago for the tournament team.
It's interesting because, you could even say to a certain degree, Bryce Williams bailed you out a lot with his mid-range capabilities, right? Like a lot of just one-on-ones, just spot or just pull-up jumpers that would work from the elbow. He loved that right elbow. The dude was almost automatic from the mid-range that we know. And I think when you look at Nebraska going forward, Husker fans might get kind of gun shy, I think, a little bit when we say things like this might be one of the best shooting teams Fred's had at Nebraska. They're going to have to rely on their shooting. This is not going to be a defensive first team, because you think back not only to what Fred has been successful with, but it's also been what other teams have been successful with at Nebraska. It's been, can they muck it up? Can they keep it gross? Can they go ahead and have kind of that defensive intensity and go win a ball game?
I'm going to push back on that a little bit. That's been the modern formula for success, but go back and peep the stats for Danny Nee's teams.
Okay, I was thinking more Doc Sadler. I was thinking more Doc Sadler and Fred Hoiberg and Tim Miles as well. Like, you weren't trying to score 85 points a game.
And I think that's totally fair. And I don't want to take this into the whole direction of, well, Nebraska football got away from the option and Nebraska basketball got away from running and gunning. But I do think it has been proven that you can win at Nebraska playing fast, playing up tempo. Now, I think that the talent level on those teams, that Strick played on, that the Danny Nee coached, was probably a little higher than the average talent that Nebraska's seen over the course of the last 25 years, right? So that certainly plays a factor. But Nebraska doesn't necessarily have to be a muck it up sort of team. That's what we were told was going to work, and it didn't get Doc Sadler really anywhere. Tim Miles got one NCAA tournament appearance out of it. I'm just really curious here, Nick, to see the Fred Hoiberg reaction to last year and reaction to this team and how that plays together, because I have this theory that won't be proven even by this entire men's basketball season. It'll take a few years, and we'll see the way that Nebraska wants to play. Is that Fred Hoiberg came in with this, offensive wunderkind kind of mindset. Oh, he's a basketball mind. He's got the schemes. He can diagram it. It's all offense. Well, okay, it was pretty offensive focus his first few years. Defense really suffered. I think that the Fred Hoiberg program, to coach and to play in the way that Fred Hoiberg is most comfortable as a coach, just needs to defend and rebound enough. I'm not saying Fred is anti-defense. I'm not saying Fred doesn't put focus or emphasis on it. Clearly he does. But I do wonder if this is a Fred Hoiberg team that he can coax enough defense out of, that he can coach players that play the way he wants on offense, and we see a more free-flowing, fast-paced, semi-transition based, but really, effective and efficient consistently in the half court on offense.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Who intrigues you the most on this roster? Because there's so many new things. You and I think we'll talk a lot later today about Braden Frager as one. Is a guy that reclassified and was not a part. He came to Nebraska sooner than what he was initially expected to. A Lincoln Southwest guy as well. Who is the most intriguing for you out of the new additions? Because we know what Rink's going to provide. We know what Sam Hoiberg's going to provide as well. Who intrigues you the most if you look at some of the new faces?
Yeah, when you think about the new faces, to me, it's between, I'm going to count Jamarcus Lawrence as a new face because he's back. Reunions are tricky. They really are. I'm curious to see if just how much Jamarcus Lawrence has grown up. Not to say it was immaturity that led him to leave Nebraska, but I do think that Jamarcus Lawrence is what last year's team was missing if he plays the ideal role. Then Kendall Blue, kind of a change of pace guy who's going to get the lazy, he's just got to be Bryce Williams 2.0 sort of comparisons. I actually think that Kendall Blue is a much more natural fit for the big point guard sort of position than Bryce Williams. Fred Hoiberg and his staff had to kind of mold Bryce Williams into a ball handler. I don't think Bryce ever got perfectly comfortable with that at Nebraska. He certainly got better. Do not misunderstand me. Like, Bryce was a legitimate playmaker for Nebraska. But I do think that Kendall Blue has more of that natural, point guard, ball handler, initiator mentality. Maybe not quite the finisher that Bryce was at the end of plays. But I think that Kendall Blue fits more of the mold. I'm curious to see how his acclimation to the Big Ten film, and you can see he's a guy that's not necessarily contact averse, but he's not seeking it out. If he can get some confidence that, I am strong enough to go up through these guys and finish, enough vertical pop, but not a hugely explosive athlete that I think like maybe Jamarcus can. I think Jamarcus has a really good explosive first step. But I think those two guys will determine the ceiling for this Nebraska team because they ought to have space to get into driving lanes. They really ought to. If the gravity of the shooters is what Fred Hoiberg says it is. So if those guys can pick their spots for when they need to score, but also become consistent passers in the drive and kick, that's going to be really the straw that stirs the drink and keeps Nebraska consistent in the half court.
Nebraska 9 days away from kicking things off or tipping things off against BYU in that exhibition match a week from Saturday. That's going to be a heck of a matchup. And it works out really well because Nebraska football plays on Friday, Husker basketball on Saturday, and you can guarantee that Austin and I will be in the building talking about that on that Saturday afternoon. All right, let's step aside. We wrap up the show from Chicago coming up next on The Drive.
To order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall, they go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Drink locally and support local business during Lincoln's Craft Beer Week, October 11th through the 18th. Great beer, cider, distillates, and more are made right here in Lincoln. For more info, visit lincoln.org/beer-week. Brought to you by Visit Lincoln. Remember to enjoy responsibly.
This fall, Baumgars has everything you need to get your farm ready for the season. Don't miss Fall Discount Day this Saturday, October 11th, for one day only. Get 17% off regular priced items. That's right, 17% off. From the barn to the backyard, Baumgars has you covered for all your field, farm, and fall fix-ups. Some exclusions apply. See a store associate for details. Baumgars, what you need, when you need it.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
From the capital to castles, starting this December, fly nonstop from Lincoln to Orlando with service from Breeze Airways. That's right, nonstop flights to Orlando out of LNK are starting this December. You're now just a flight away from Disney World, Universal Studios, Legoland, and the Space Coast. Stretch out and relax on Breeze with complimentary family seating. Book your magical getaway now at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Tune in every Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. for the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Sit back and enjoy listening to Dr. Chatters discuss real stories involving struggle, inspiration, and real-life experiences with special guests and insights. Remember, the higher the pressure, the greater the lift. The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Every Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainer. Sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Real quickly, one final time here on The Drive. Thanks to everybody for hanging out with us throughout the entirety of the show. If you missed any of the show, make sure you check it out on the podcast page, theticketfm.com as well. You can also go back on the video stream and see us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Cable Channel 961. Make sure you stay tuned throughout the entirety of the day for more ticket programming as we continue to get you ready for Nebraska, Maryland on Saturday. DP will be making his way out there. I think he's in the air right now, making his way out there to Maryland for that matchup, as Austin and I will fly back to Lincoln tonight and handle high school football tomorrow, Husker football stuff on Saturday, and so on and so forth from there on out. All right, Austin, thing you're most looking forward to in about a 45-second answer, what are we looking forward to most from Big Ten Basketball Media Days, men's basketball edition today?
Man, I mean, it is a deep Big Ten conference. So getting
all the stars, all the great head coaches in the room is going to be interesting. I know I got to keep you on a Darian DeVries watch, so we'll definitely be looking out for Coach DeVries and Indiana. I mean, preseason player of the year, Braden Smith will be there representing Purdue, hoping to get a chance to cross paths with him. Matt Painter's quickly becoming one of my favorite coaches in college basketball. I really like his approach to the game, both on and off the court. So, I mean, the Big Ten's got a lot of luminaries. Tom Izzo, obviously, in that mix. Curious to hear from him about what Michigan State has to say. There's going to be a lot of great players, going to be a lot of great coaches in the room. And that's why you have these events, right? This is really a showcase day for the Big Ten, kind of taking over right after the ACC is done. I think it's a huge platform for the Big Ten as it looks to continue its upward trajectory in the sport of college basketball and win its first national championship still since the year 2000.
Yeah, it's a very, very deep conference, and there's going to be a lot of names there today. It's going to be a lot of fun to be a part of. You can always follow the action from Big Ten Basketball Media Days today on Twitter, Nick_Sainert at @Austin_Orman as well as just the 93.7 The Ticket Twitter. Everything's going to be cross-posted between those three platforms later today. So just kind of keep your eyes to the social medias of the world, and we will have them posted as well. Hopefully going to be able to sit down with a couple of other programs as well, similar to the way we do it with Husker or with Big Ten Football Media Days, to where we're able to talk to some other ones. SIDs have been very, very helpful with access and things like that. And it's not basketball season quite yet in terms of games.
Says you.
But it's right around the corner. Hey, there's playoff baseball, which, by the way, the Brewers going with Freddie Peralta tonight. So their game one starter is who they're throwing tonight. The Cubs are leaning towards Matthew Boyd, who's their game one starter as well. So we'll see what plays out there. But nonetheless, it's been a fun trip to Chicago. We are excited to get back home. We're excited to continue covering Nebraska football as well. This is our busy time of the year, Austin Orman, as we have crossover season. It's officially here. Husker football, high school football, Husker men's and women's basketball, Husker volleyball. There's a lot going on. It's a great time to be a Husker sports fan. We can't thank the fine folks here at the Comfort Inn and Suites for allowing me to be in their business office today to do the show. I'm glad Austin's Wi-Fi was working from his room up there. We're going to get out of here. We appreciate you listening. Make sure you stay tuned. 93.7 The Ticket rolls on next from Lincoln.
Nebraska Lottery.
Do you have a new lotto game called Nebraska Pick 4?
Yes, sir. It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you can choose from 6 different bet types.
Kind of like Nebraska Pick 3 with a bigger jackpot and more bet options?
Yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I misplaced my phone. Do you know where it is?
You're using it.
Ah, so I am. You lottery people know everything.
Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton